Okay, folks, welcome back to the next video in this series. I'm doing a couple back to back here because now that I've got the inventory showing, I'm pretty excited to move to the next step. So I haven't bothered to clean any of this up yet, but obviously I'll make this look a lot better at some point. And we'll come back to it. Like I said, we'll come back to it and add drag and drop and equip and some other things. But for now, I just wanted to be able to see what I had. So I'm happy about that. Obviously, there's other things I'll have to be added to, like item stacking and all kinds of stuff. So I'm sure there'll be tons of videos on that at some point. But I'm excited to get to the point where I can attack my mob character, which is currently a wolf, with my weapon. Now that I can see it and I know it's there and everything's working properly. So what I want to do is I'm going to use the gameplay ability system to handle basically everything as far as attacking and spells and item buffs and all sorts of all that stuff. It all needs to be gameplay abilities, and so gameplay abilities can be done a couple of different ways. We can create gameplay abilities in C++, or we can create them in blueprints. And I think the proper way to do this is to create pretty much everything in blueprints, because I think if you were, obviously I'm by myself, and so I could come and create all these in C++ and it wouldn't matter. But if you're working as a part of a team, I think most of your abilities are things that you want the designer, game designers to be able to create. You don't want to have to come in and write code to handle all of the different types of spells and everything that a user could use. So what I'm gonna do is create some base classes so that for everything to inherit from. So I'm gonna come in to my private folder here, and I'm gonna add a new folder if Writer ever finishes what it's doing here. I'm gonna add a new directory and call it abilities. And I'm going to create a new Unreal class. And the class we're going to inherit from gameplay ability. And note, at the very back toward the very beginning, I added in the ability system modules and plug-in and everything. So I've already done all of that. So that's why this gameplay ability shows up, and I'm going to create a Badger gameplay ability base class. And I don't know if I'm going to have anything in this for now, but I'm going to go ahead and create it so I don't have to reparent later if I add things to the base, if I want to add things to the base. So we've got UBadger gameplay ability, and I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to put any code in here yet. Okay, so I've got that. I'm also going to create a new Unreal class. Whoops. Ability system component, and we'll call this Badger ability system component. And same thing goes for this one. I'm not gonna put any code in here right now. I'm just creating it so that I have this base class implemented if I want to make changes later. And really, I don't even need the tick or begin play, but I'll just leave them here for now. Okay. And I've got my two base classes. And I believe I already have an attribute set. Take a look here. Yeah, here's my attribute set. So I've already got all of my attributes, although there's going to be way more than this. And they're not defaulted properly or anything right now, but the attribute set is there. So I've got everything I need now. I'm going to go and compile this. Okay, so that compiled successfully. I still have more to do in the code. I just wanted to make sure it's still compiled. So now that I have an ability system component, I'm going to change this. And I don't need this anymore, so now I'm using my ability system component instead of the base one here. And so I think the way this is going to end up working is I'll probably have a collection or an array of abilities that each character will have. Maybe multiple arrays. Maybe I'll split them up, an array of like melee abilities, an array of spell abilities. I'm not sure, but there are some abilities that every single character in the game is going to have, and one of those is going to be like the melee attack ability. So I think that I can basically hard code that one in here. So let me think about this for just a second. Okay. So let me create my ability here for melee attack. So we're going to do make a U property. And it's going to be a gameplay ability, and we'll call this melee attack ability class. Yep. Okay. So we got the melee attack ability class. And you know what, really, let me copy and paste this down here, and I'm going to make a there we go. So in my begin play of the base character, fix that up first of all, and then I'm going to initialize the ability system, and then we're going to call, let's see, we're going to make a function, two functions actually. I'm going to call give abilities and generate definitions for these. And we're gonna come in here, we're gonna check if melee attack ability class. So we're gonna set that in the editor. So if it's properly set, which it always should be, but might as well have the check anyway. We'll call ability system give ability. F gameplay ability spec, and this is going to be the melee attack ability class. Get default object. And I think that actually might be all we need. Looks like it defaults the rest. Although doesn't like this, why not? Oh, good grief. Why does it keep doing inline functions? So I'm having issues with my give ability call here. T subclass of gameplay ability, so that's, dang it. Says subclass of gameplay ability, level 1. All of these others are defaulted. Maybe this. No, I definitely need this. Let me see. Let me try this. Let me use T object pointer. Oops. Still does not like that. really annoying. This function didn't, or this function didn't want to work because I did not have this header file included. It took me forever to figure that out. And for some reason, it wouldn't automatically do it. I had to add it by hand. But at any rate, it works now. So we can actually get rid of this. Actually, let's do this. There we go. Okay. So we give the ability to the ability system for this character, but we're only going to do this on the server. So here. There we go. Perfect. So in begin play, we init the actor info, and then we're going to call give abilities. And actually, I'm going to move that there, I think. Yeah, I think that's what we want. And then I'm going to have to bind this to, I guess what I really want is a button on the UI, but we'll figure that out in just a bit. But basically, I'm ready to compile this and then create the my first melee attack ability and set it in the editor so that I can attack the wolf. What I don't have is any sort of death handling right now, so I'm not going to worry about it for now. We should be able to, when I attack the wolf, we should be able to see its health go down on the HUD until it hits 0, and then I'll worry about death after that. Okay, so now my editor's launched. I'm going to create a new folder, abilities, and we'll just create one right here in the add your gameplay ability. Select that, and we'll call this GA underscore character underscore melee. Actually, let's just call it GA underscore melee attack. So actually, let me go ahead. So since I've got that created, let me go ahead and update the character. Where did I put it? Actually, I got interrupted there for a second. I put my melee attack ability class in a bad place. Let's do character abilities. makes more sense. So I'm not going to worry about, well, I'll go ahead and compile it, but I'm not going to worry about waiting for it. I'll go ahead and come in here and set my class to the melee attack. And so this one's going to be interesting. I need to connect. But so what I'm trying to do here is, like I've said in the past, the last RPG I really played was EverQuest, and so that's sort of what I'm emulating here. And the way EverQuest works is there's a button on the UI you click for melee attack, and that starts the ability, and it just goes in a loop until you turn it back off. So let me come into my HUD. And what do I want to do here? Let's do horizontal box. And let's anchor it to the bottom center. And we'll put a button in it. And let's see here. Inside the button, we need some text. Come on. We'll just change it to melee. And let's call this melee button, because I'm gonna later I'll probably create my own button class, but for now we'll just use the out of the box button class. And we'll come into the HUD. Actually, before we even do that, let me come into base character, and let's make a public method. Come on. Okay, so we got begin and end melee attack. I'm gonna put those down at the end here. And what's going to happen, I think, is, let's take a look at my HUD widget. Yeah, so I need a property. Instead of just having these properties, let me think about this for a moment. I think called it melee button. So when I set the player character data, actually, I wondered if I could just get the player controller right from the... Yes, I can. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do is in the player controller, we'll make a public. Begin in melee attack, and we'll generate these. And what these will do is just call current player character, begin melee attack, okay, so we got to begin and end melee attack on our player controller that calls the character. So now in our HUD widget, when that button is clicked, so I need to do something when this button is clicked. Okay, so I'm going to create a method. Oh, oops. And I'm going to override the initialize method. And what we're going to do is melee button on clicked dot add dynamic. Melee attack clips. Needs to be a U function, of course. Okay. Still doesn't like it. Oh, melee attack clicked. Ugh. There we go. Okay. So that will cause this method to fire. And we're going to grab cast actually. So okay, so we're going to grab that player controller. And we're going to say begin melee attack. And actually I need some state. So okay, so we got this Boolean state, whether or not melee is active. So whoops. So if melee is not active, we're going to set it to active. We're going to call begin melee attack. Else, set it to false. And call end melee attack. There we go. So now when you click the button, this method fires, gets the owning player controller, calls begin melee attack, which calls the current player character begin melee attack, which currently has no code in it. So we need to fill in begin and end melee attack. And what we're going to call, I believe, is try ability by class. Let me take a look here. Yeah, so I'm going to say this ability system, try activate ability by class. And we're going to grab melee attack ability class. And there we go. And then down here, can I do the opposite? No. I think what I want is to hold a reference. Okay, I had to actually look this up. So what we're going to do is we need to find a current instance of the ability class so that we can then end it. So oops. Find ability spec from class. And we're going to pass in what did I call that? Melee attack ability class. There we go. And once again, I probably need to add. No. E subclass of gameplay ability. Ah. There we go. So we're going to get the spec. And if it's valid, we're going to basically look it up. Must be looking at some old documentation. Find ability spec from class if spec. Ah, okay. Whoops. What is this? No, this documentation is garbage. One moment. Okay, let's see if this is any better. Okay. Okay. There we go. Okay, there we go. So it's looping through the abilities that are on the ability system. If it finds a match for the melee attack ability, it cancels that ability. Okay. So now we can start and stop the ability from the UI. So I'm going to compile this. Of course, currently the ability does nothing, but one thing I'm probably going to need to do is set the target of the ability. Okay, let's see how far I am. So I looked up how to set the target data, and that's pretty ugly code, so I'm not going to worry about it for the moment. Uh-oh, looks like I got an issue. Unreachable code 65. That's interesting. Why is that code not reachable? Oh, it's because there's a return statement. There we go. Okay. See if that's done. Oh, got something opening on my other screen here. I accidentally kicked off an instance of Visual Studio, which takes forever to load on my machine. Okay. So now let me compile. While that's compiling, let's take a look at this ability, and let's do this. Let's we'll print out a string, melee attack, and we will delay for 1 second. Actually, I'm gonna do this inside of a loop. And actually, is there a better way? Is there a while loop maybe? Yeah. There we go. So now we just have an if in a loop where every second it's going to print the words melee attack on the screen. Looks like that's successfully compiled. Maybe close Visual Studio. And come on. There we go. Go ahead and, wow, look at that. Some kind of crazy lighting issue. Let me hit the melee button. Let's see what happens. doing nothing. Oh, did I set? I did set the. Looks like that while loop was a bad idea. Yeah, let's kill that. And I'll relaunch, see if I can fix it up. Okay. Now that that's done, let me come fix this up. That loop was a terrible idea. Let's do a function called, oops. Oh, come on. Everything just froze up. There we go. Now, perform attack. We'll do it every 2 seconds. Looping. There we go. Perfect. Come on. I don't want that. There we go. There it goes again. So you can actually see it's executing on both the client and the server, which I don't believe I want. I think that I want this to only run on the server. See what that does.
Okay, so I got interrupted for dinner and I never came back. So this video has been paused for 2 days on my machine. So let me remember where I was at here. I was trying to make this ability run on the server only, and I think I screwed up. I think this property, net security policy, should be client or server, but this should be server only. So I'm gonna run and I don't really need to grab this, but I will anyway. And then I'm gonna hit the melee button. And there we go, server melee attack. And boom, it just refreshed. So it's firing every 2 seconds, just like it's supposed to, only on the server. If I click it again, that is not, it didn't turn off. So that part's not working. Okay. Okay. So let me set a breakpoint here. Just make sure it's firing. Start. And it's running. Now I hit stop. There we go. We got a handle. Cancelability. I'll bet that I need to put some logic in the actual blueprint. Is there a special cancel or just... No, it looks like there's just this end. Okay, let's see if I... No, whoa. Good grief. See if I do that. Okay, firing. And stop. No. Still going. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, let's see if I can get the, instead of the handle, see if I can get the instance. See if that works. Give that a try. I'll compile it. Okay. Let's run. And it's on. It's still on, I think. Ah. Well, everything I read in the documents says that this should work just fine. But it doesn't seem to be. Let me set a breakpoint right here. Oh, you know what? I'll bet. I'll bet I need to. I need to kill this timer, maybe. Hmm. There we go. Okay, hit the button. It's running. Hit it again. It's getting canceled there. And nope. Still firing. Now it's firing twice. The breakpoint never got hit in my blueprint. Okay. So I'm wondering if it's because I have it just running on the server. So I'm gonna try something real quick. Set it to local predicted and run. Okay, now hit the button again. Oh dear. Ah, check that out. That is exactly what the problem is. So, whoops. Okay, so that works. I don't think well, you know what? I'm going to leave it locally predicted for now. I think there's a method I could call to end this on the server, but for now I'm going to leave that ability locally predicted and see if that works out for me. So the only thing I'm missing that needs to be added is when I activate the ability, I really need to pass in target data. So let me take a look and see how that's going to go. So, let's see what I have here. I think I'm gonna have to activate this a different way. Ability, no. Ability spec handle. I don't think this is what I want. No. No. Okay, I think what I can do after looking is I think I can actually override. No. Let me think about this for a little bit. Okay, I think I'm trying to go about this the wrong way. I think I just need to activate the ability, and inside of the ability, I should be able to get the should be able to get the owner. Oh, this is the problem with using blueprints, is I'm so unfamiliar with them. Get actor info. Boom. There we go. So now I can get the target from, actually, targets on my, is it on this or is it on my player character? Yeah, it's on my player character. I actually need to move it. Okay, so let me do that real quick, just so we can know that it's gonna work. So current player character. No. That's on my controller. Hmm. I think I want to keep it there. So let's see. I can get the player controller. The problem is it's not always going to be a player, right? It might be AI controlled, but I think I think this is okay for now. If I just grab cast to Badger player controller, or might as well cast to the blueprint, and then from here we should be able to get we can't get it because I don't have it. Okay, there we go. And that will allow me to get that property here. So I know this is going to work, so I'm not going to worry about that right now. So we know we can get the target info. That's the proper way to do it. I'm thinking that's probably where I'll stop here. So basically, since I know I can get the target info now, what I'm going to end up doing is we're going to have to create a gameplay effect that will apply damage to the target. And I'm trying to sort of mimic EverQuest here, but this is where, if I want to mimic EverQuest, I need a ton more stuff than I have right now. I need way more stats on my character and skills and all kinds of things. So I'm not going to try to emulate that just yet. In the next video, I'll do some simple damage with a gameplay effect, and then I'll have to have several gameplay cues. I'm going to need an animation montage to play when every time it tries to attack. I'm going to need audio, potentially a particle system if there's a hit, maybe. So there's several things I'll have to add in order to make that all work. So I don't want to do it all in this video because I'm already well over an hour. So I think I'll stop here, and in my next video I'll continue creating this attack ability. And if I want to actually see, I'll be able to see the wolf's health go down, but if I want to see him actually die, I'll have to create a ability for that as well. So if we have time, we'll get into that. But that's the plan, at least for now. Unless I change it, I'm constantly jumping around. I never work on one thing for too long. It's a flaw for sure, and that I leave things unfinished before moving on. So, but anyway, next video I'll plan to, get this ability working to where I can see the wolf's health actually go down as I hit him. So that's what I'll do next time, and until then, take care. See you then.